Everybody, welcome back with the Plat. Today we are talking about Tropical Tomoko. So this is like the summer, I mean, it's called summer, called tropical. I don't remember which one it's going to be. But yeah, we don't know if Tomoko and Closer are coming at the same time, but there is rumors that they will, so I figured I'd make a video now in case you have to decide between the two characters. So I won't lie, I think this character is 10 times more exciting than Closer. Now maybe that's just me because of my bias and towards the fact that I like Sepia, which is the correct way to say it, probably. Doesn't matter, his name's never mentioned in game, I'm pretty sure. But you know, Sumi, the guy that no one else likes besides me, this seems like a perfect unit for that team. Let's lower that volume a little bit. So I just, this is a character that's very exciting for me because it's probably going to be a best in slot for my that team that I like to build. So what does she actually do? She's kind of interesting. She's labeled as a healer or a medic, which does make sense, but you're going to notice she doesn't really have that many medical skills. Most of her stuff is going to be based around this spark mechanic, and then debuffing enemies a little bit. Not that much in the buffing category, which is I think a little bit weird for a healer. There's a little bit here. So what does she actually do though? It basically, most of her skill is going to be based around this spark mechanic, and then she's kind of, it's just kind of a weird character. She does kind of everything. She does a sensible amount of damage. I'm not going to say it's crazy, but she does a little bit amount of damage. She does some buffing, not a lot, but a little bit of buffing. She does a little bit of debuffing, and she also has like the healing mechanic, and she has like, again, more like follow-up damage with like the spark and stuff. So she kind of is a little bit all over the place, but in a way where I still think it actually all works, even though she isn't necessarily specialized in one thing. I actually think she's going to be a good kind of support unit that could deal damage, because she kind of has the Mona thing where she gets to attack while healing at the same time. So this might be just like, if you're looking for someone that could attack every turn, like with Yui, you want a healer usually, but you don't want a healer that doesn't get to attack, because then Yui doesn't get to follow up. This might be like a new best in slot for that kind of team as well. But let's actually read the skills here. Let's start with the Gorgeous Fireworks, or A0. All of her skills can inflict spark. They will all say that, right? This inflicts spark. This can inflict spark. It doesn't directly do it, I guess. And this will inflict anywhere from 1 up to 4 spark. After any ally uses a skill, and if foes have 3 stacks of spark, this isn't clear to me if this is 3 stacks on an individual, or as long as the entire enemy team has a total of 3 sparks, where that means you could use this, right? They go up to 4 sparks, pretty much guaranteed, because it's like, it inflicts 1 stack of spark per hit of damage, and it hits 4 times, so it's just 4 spark. So if this all hits different targets, and then an ally uses an attack, will that trigger this? I don't know. But this is something like we're guessing a little bit because I haven't used the character. But if they have 3 stacks of spark and an ally uses a skill, little kind of easy to do, you trigger a follow-up attack. For every 3 stacks of spark removed, deal 19% attack as psychic damage to all foes. So this implies to me that it's only 3 stacks on the entire enemy team, but whatever. Because it's a little bit weird because we'll move past this, but if there's, 4 enemies, each with 1 stack of spark, and you do a single target attack, like you have, I don't know, Soy just lower their defense, will that trigger it because all foes have it, or does that have to be targeted foes? I don't know. It sounds like this will probably be pretty easy to trigger. It'll trigger after most actions, at least once a turn, right? But it'll deal 90% as psychic damage and decrease their damage dealt by 19% for a turn. So again, this is a reasonable debuff defensively, and it's dealing a very terrible amount of damage, but it is something. Additionally, you restore a little bit of HP. Let's say it's 900 HP plus 9% attack to all allies, and remove different amounts of spark in the same follow-up attack up to 5 times. So this, again, the wording here is a little bit weird. This attack cannot trigger the effect of additional spark. So basically by attacking with spark, you're not, using this will not give you more spark. You change the follow-up attack damage based on the number of foes. When there are 1, 2, or foes it basically will deal more damage of the original. Oh yeah, here we go. So if there's one foe, deals 150% damage, two foes, it deals 120% damage, and 100% the normal damage if it's 3 or more foes. This follow-up attack cannot reduce foes' down gauge. When a foe is defeated, their sparks get spread around. So this is a lot of words, but basically you're going to do spark. When enemies have 3 spark, you're going to do a follow-up attack. The follow attack deals damage. It also lowers their defense, and additionally, it heals. The line here, and remove different amounts of spark in the same follow-up attack up to 5 times. I don't know if this means you can only remove 5 stacks of spark. Like, you have 3 stacks of spark, but can you, because this says for every 3 stacks and this says up to 5 times, this means you could do 15 spark, 5 spark. It's not super clearly worded, but we get the general idea of the ability. More spark is good. The more spark you have, the more damage you'll deal, the more damage debuff you will inflict, and the more healing you will do. This overall sounds very powerful, even if it's a little abstract on my reading on exactly how it's going to work. But let's actually read her active skills here. Deal 77.6% attack as psychic damage to all foes 4 times. Prioritizing foes that have not been attacked yet, meaning you don't actually hit all foes 4 times, unlike what it says. You're going to hit random foes 4 times, and it'll prioritize targets that haven't been hit. So if there's 4 enemies, you'll hit them all once. If there's 2 enemies, you'll hit them each twice. Maybe you have a chance to hit 1, 3, 1 once. I don't know. But to me, it'll be like, you know, it's going to hit everyone that hasn't been hit at least 1 time, and then it's kind of random from there. Each hit will inflict a stack of spark, meaning that you will put 4 stacks of spark on the enemy team, no matter how many enemies there are. Attacks on the same target will only deal 30% of the damage, so a 70% damage decrease. Or this might do like 70. If that means that there's 1 foe, this does 70% damage, plus an additional 3 hits of 30%, so another 90, so 160% single target damage is what it sounds like. But also increase the damage multiplier of healing of your gorgeous fireworks by 51%. So if there's 1 enemy, this is like probably a better healing ability than your actual healing ability, because this will increase this healing by 50%. So that could be pretty good, actually. It's kind of an interesting skill. You could use it for damage. You use it for shield breaking, use it to generate spark stacks. It's probably your best single target damage ability, and it's also your best healing ability. So skill 1 seems really powerful on this character. Skill 2 seems way more narrow, but interesting. Restores HP to 1 ally, increase their attack by 14%, and EHR by 58.6%. Effective hit rate, I'm assuming this is ailment accuracy in this character. Not a lot of characters care about ailment accuracy outside of Vino, and you really want to use a single target heal on Vino to do this to give more stat. I don't think that part is currently super relevant. But healing someone is, for 1 character, is not very good. Increasing their attack by 14% is not very good. And the effective hit rate, whatever the healing ailment, I don't think is very good. They can now inflict 1 stack of spark after each hit of damage for 2 turns up to 5 stacks. So this is kind of nice because this could deal up to 10 spark stacks, right? If you could theoretically deal 5 hits, like Sumi could deal 5 hits each turn, that means that you would get 10 hits, basically 10 stacks of spark just by using Sumi, which is, or okay, maybe it's 5 stacks over 2 turns. You're right. So it's not 5 stacks a turn. I'm sorry, I definitely misread that. They deal sparks after each hit up to 5 stacks. It just doesn't seem very good. I guess it's 1 more stack of spark, but you're not getting all these other effects. You are getting a heal. This is not a very good skill if it wasn't for the fact that eye catching also exists, so it might be okay. But yeah, I don't expect to use this very much. However, the thing is here, actually, I'm thinking about it on Sumi, is this effective hit rate, I think, will scale his... 1, he's already able to do the 5 stacks every turn. I think this will also increase his chance to do curse, which could be very, very good, because I think it's 35% chance per stack or whatever to do curse. So this actually could be really, really big for him, but I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out. But then you get this insanely, what sounds like a powerful skill, but it's hard to know how powerful it will actually be. Deal 61% of attack as psychic damage to all foes and increase their damage taken by 20%. Both good so far. Low damage, but it increases their damage dealt. This isn't your main damage dealer, so that's probably fine. Inflict 1 stack of spark to each foe after each hit of damage for 1 turn. This doesn't say that she's the one that does this. So it sounds like if you do this, your allies dealing, because it sounds like a debuff you put on the enemy. So every time they get hit for damage, it'll inflict a stack of spark. And this doesn't say up to 5 times, right? This is 4 stacks. This is 5 stacks over 2 turns. So this sounds like it's uncapped. It says counts down at the start of your turn, so I assume when her turn starts back up, she won't be able to do like this and then into this to actually do 8 stacks, right? I think that's kind of what the thing is here. So mostly debuffs end at the end of your turn, or buffs end at the end of your turn. So I'm guessing that this will just, the way that this will work is that the second her turn starts again, it will no longer be in effect. When this effect is active, Summer Moko can inflict up to 5 stacks of spark. The damage cannot trigger the effect of this skill. So this is what's a little weird for me. Like, again, it's hard to fully understand exactly how this works with herself. But apparently she can inflict up to 5 stacks, and the damage cannot trigger the effect of the skill. I understand that. You can't do follow-up attacks to get another spark. But does that mean this is 3 hits, and this will inflict spark? So this would do, this would do the 5 stacks, maybe 6 stacks, because this also does its own stacks, and maybe they're separate. I don't know. But point is, you're going to inflict a stack of spark for each hit of damage they take. Now, if this works the way I want it to work, this means when you use this, Sepia is going to just deal 5 stacks of spark anyway, because he hits 5 individual times. And if that's the way it works, it also means Soy could inflict 42 stacks of spark the very first turn, or like 42, 45 is like how much his weapon has, right? And so how does that actually work? Is that actually powerful? The answer is maybe not. So it'll still be good, but it may not be as broken as it sounds. But I am interested to find out, at least, because if you could do that many stacks of spark, it would be good. But let's say you do 19% damage. Well, so it's for every 3 stacks of spark, right? Let's say he has 45 bullets, and you divide that by 3. So you're going to get 15 instances of this, right? And then if it does 19% damage each time, it would be a hit of 285%. That's not insanely broken, although it would like lower their damage dealt by apparently that much as well for a turn. So it'd be complete immunity potentially for a turn. If it works that way, I don't know. Let's just also times it by 1.5 if there's 1 foe, and it could be a 427% attack. That, if this works this way, I'll be surprised. I'll be honest. I'll be surprised if you inflict a stack after each hit for 1 turn. If Soy gets to go, if Sepia gets to go, if Windboy gets to go, then this will just be so many stacks. Like, it seems weird, especially when guns are involved, because like even Wonder has a gun with 8 bullets, right? Joker has a gun with 8 bullets. A lot of characters have a lot of bullets in their guns. I think Rin has like 24, right? Like something crazy high. So if that works that way, this could be an incredibly powerful line, even if it's not about like the first part of this. Just inflicting so much spark and having her do her big follow-up attacks could be very, very cool. This is something I'm very excited to try out. Maybe my most excited individual skill in the game. Highlight, deal whatever 80% low damage as psychic damage to all foes randomly 3 times, prioritizing foes that have not been attacked yet. Each hit will inflict spark. Attacks on the same target will only deal 30% damage. This sounds really bad. I understand that using this highlight you can use it whenever you want, and this is like an SOS heal, because you have to read more into this. This says 3 stacks of spark, use it on an ally's turn. That, when it's not her turn, use it on an ally's turn. Enemies get 3 stacks of spark. You do a little bit of damage, but then you're going to be able to do your heal. So it's kind of like an SOS heal as well, but an offensive way of doing it. I still think this sounds like not a particularly good highlight, but maybe I'm wrong. As far as the passives here, increase psychic damage and max HP based on own healing effect, up to 42% healing effect. So if you get up to 42% healing effect, you're going to get 70% psychic damage and 2100 max HP. This is really good. This is, I mean, this is the only reason why you would probably get healing effect, although maybe, because maybe this heal is pretty weak and it needs it. But I do really like this passive. It is kind of a lame passive, but it's kind of, it seems powerful. Eye catching seems incredibly awkward. I don't know if how this is going to work at all. Increase the main target's max HP by 1800 for 2 turns, then restore 60% skill healing to the lowest HP ally. This is very weird for me because I just don't understand. Increase this might be a mistranslation even. Main target's max HP. This implies to me that you need to target an ally with an AoE skill, or you know, a skill in general. But she only has 1 skill that targets it. So it seems like this is basically, this line of text could be added to this skill, is what it sounds like to me. Unless any of these target allies, or if it works when you target enemies and it just counts herself as the main target, I don't think it's going to buff the enemy's HP. I'd be very surprised there if it gave the enemy 1800 HP and then it healed everybody. Just like everyone would think that sounds bad. So the way I'm assuming this works as of now is that when you use Please Enjoy on an ally, it will also increase their max HP by 1800, which makes the skill a lot better for survival, I suppose. Then it will restore a second character's HP, you know, whoever has the lowest, which I assume that this character won't after they get the heal, by 60% of, I guess that's how that works. This is a very unexciting one to me, I think, because it's probably the one skill I don't want to use on her very much at all, because she already has built-in healing. Maybe the spark follow-up attacks will count if it heals something like that as the main target. I don't really know yet, but I'm not super impressed with this. As far as awakenings, I'm going to ignore everything past A2. We're just going to talk to A1. Decrease all foes' defense by 15% when they took damage from Gorgeous Fireworks, which is your spark follow-up attack. For 3 turns, up to 3 stacks. Please Enjoy now heals all allies. So that is probably why this is good. So A1 is a huge power-up. The fact that you could lower their defense by 15% 3 times is big. The fact that Please Enjoy now is an AoE heal, it now gives it, well, it says it heals all allies, so it probably doesn't give them the rest of the effect, but it probably does heal everybody, and then the main target gets this, and this. But still, that's a pretty big power up, mostly for the defense down. I don't think the Please Enjoy healing all allies is as cool, but it makes it a not bad ability at the very least. So A1 is probably worth it. But if we go to the build section here, we got the 4-star weapon, the 5-star weapon. 4-star weapon, increase attack by, let's say, 24% when activating Summer Reminiscence, which is, I'm guessing that is, I'm gonna guess that's Gorgeous Fireworks, and that the names are just different here. Increase the user's healing by 24% for 2 turns. Okay, that's not very good. This is a pretty not very good weapon. The attack 24%, the healing by 24% for 2 turns. Increase healing by 22%, so not quite as good baseline. Increase the multiplier for the skill from Summer Resonance and healing by 18%. So just this sounds like a flat increase. It sounds like it doubles the damage of that skill. It's hard to know, because if this goes up to 30%, rough, you know, whatever, not more than 30%, like 35%, 37%, and then that's multiplied by the number of spark stacks, this is going to be unbelievably massive. When activating Summer Reminiscence, increase the target's damage taken by 8.5% for 3 turns, stacks up to 2 times. This, to me, sounds like a real 5-star weapon, mostly because the 4-star weapon is so bad. So this is a 5-star weapon I think is worth considering for sure. Very, very powerful, I think, comparatively to that 4-star weapon, which sounds terrible. This doesn't have any attack in it, but you don't really care about a flat attack stat on your medic debuff buff healer. You know, it's like, I don't think your flat attack stat is actually that important. Plus, the healing always being active is also a way to more easily get that extra psychic damage and HP anyway. So this sounds like a worthy 5-star weapon for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the character yet. I already kind of talked about it last time. I might pull because whatever, meta is meta, and I think this sounds like a really powerful character to support my literal favorite character in the game. but I've already explained that it makes me a little uncomfortable that they're 16. All right, I'll be honest. If it does or doesn't for you, whatever, that's your thing, but I'm just sharing my feelings on it. But guys, that is all for this one. Overall, I think that, to me, this sounds like a character that's an easy pull. So Summer Closer sounds like an easy skip. This character sounds like it's potentially a very easy character to pull. Not saying that they're on the power level of Cord, not saying that they're absolutely busted, but like, they're just kind of a unique character that does a lot of different things. It's kind of like the Marion vibe, where there's no team that you could put this character in that would feel like awkward, right? No matter what, she's still debuffing a little bit. She's still healing, which is important. She's still buffing a little bit. And she's doing a bunch of follow-up attacks, especially if you have that A1 and you have the 5-star weapon. This character is going to, the difference between A0 with 4-star weapon and then A1 R0, I feel like is going to be almost a, like, maybe not a literal doubling of power, but like a 75% to 100% like straight up increase in damage output and in general for your teams, if you care about that. If you're planning on using her. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. Much love for platypuses per platypus. I'll see you on the flip flops. Bye.